So my dream job is to be a veterinary technician. It's what I'm going to school for. It's what I'm working towards. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to interview somebody in my prospective field due to time restraints. I did ask a teacher if she would do an email interview with me Monday. She said yes, and unfortunately she wasn't able to respond to my questions until about 9:30 Wednesday night, so I'd already asked somebody else some questions. So I decided to interview my good friend who is a substitute teacher. At one time I did want to be a teacher. I loved playing school when I was little. My grandpa and I would go through math questions and I'd grade papers. And so even though my career focus has changed quite a bit, I feel like it still sort of pertains to my past in a way. So Courtney is one of my very close friends. We're the same age. We went to school together. And we've been friends since middle school. Courtney is one of those really lucky people who have known what they wanted to do since forever. She's always had this goal. She's been working towards it for as long as I can remember. She's always gotten straight A's, taken extra classes, and it's just always been in her plan. So she's been substituting for about 3 years now. She does mostly long-term positions, so a lot of maternity leave she'll fill in for. Her main goal would be to find a full-time teaching position, preferably for kindergarten. She did a lot to prepare for her job, 4 years of schooling, which she started while she was still in high school. She did 2 placements, which involves going to school 2 days a week, helping wherever she can, and starting to make her own lesson plans. And then she did student teaching, which involves going to a classroom and being supervised every day by a supervisor. And then halfway through the semester, she'll be in control of the class entirely by herself, doing her own lesson plans. She'll be observed weekly, and her lesson plans will be observed as well. Before she went to Ashland, she also did 15 hours of preschool observation for her LCCC classes, and she also did student teaching placement at the LCCC Daycare Center with 105 hours and 8 classroom observations. I asked her what prepared her the most for her job, and she said that the student teaching helped a lot and that some of the classes that she took were useful, but it didn't compare to the actual hands-on experience that you get from being in the classroom with the kids. Alright, so what's her average day consist of? Some of the tasks that she listed were writing lesson plans, using classroom management strategies to keep her classroom under control. She teaches math, science, and social studies using Common Core standards, attends meetings, works with another teacher to keep in contact about student behavior, works with an intervention specialist to accommodate for special education students. So her typical day is between 8:30 and 4. She usually goes in early to get prepared for the day, and then she does a lot at home, a lot of grading and a lot of lesson plans. I asked her what she liked most about her job. She said, "My favorite part is just being with the kids. They make me laugh, and they love telling you stories about things that have happened and things about home." I asked her what her least favorite or most stressful part of the job is. She said when you're first starting out with a new classroom and lesson plans, it's very stressful to get a new... It's very stressful, but eventually you get in the routine. And I think it'll be like that with just about any new job you go to. You're not going to go in fully prepared, I don't think. You just have to get in that routine and get comfortable with what you're doing. I asked about job-related opportunities. She's ultimately looking to be a teacher for kindergarten, but she is certified to teach preschool through 3rd grade, and she could also teach reading from kindergarten to 12th grade. So she could always go back to school and expand on those grades. She could also go back and get her master's degree to be a principal or other supervisor, like a superintendent or curriculum director. I asked about the average pay and if she thinks it's fair. So because she's a substitute and not a full-time teacher, she doesn't really know the teacher side of the salary, but as a long-term substitute, she has to start out at substitute level pay. So she gets paid $90 a day and has to work 60 days in a row. Once you get through those 60 days, the pay level goes to $200 a day. The catch is if you miss 1 day of school, you go back down to that $90 level. So she said, "So in other words, I'm going to work no matter how sick I am, It's not fair to make so little for doing all the same work and attending all the meetings all the other teachers do for salary pay. I asked if there's anything that she wishes she would have known before getting into her career. She said she wishes she would have been more prepared for the interviewing process. She had a lot of experiences early on that kind of discouraged her, and I think that's good advice for everybody, to be prepared for interviews, to know how to answer questions, and how to sell yourself in the best light. Is this a growing career field? She said, no, it's getting bad. Teachers are retiring, but schools won't hire more because of money, so they just put more kids in a classroom. And finally I asked her what advice she has for someone interested in her field of work. She said, make sure it's something you want to do. The hours are not just 8 to 4. I do things for work at home too. I do a lot of grading and lesson plans at home. It's a never-ending job. Even when people think that you're so lucky to have all summer off, it's not true. So I don't think I learned a whole lot from the interview. I knew how much work she had put into it because I've been here to see her go through the interview process and the student teaching process and the schooling. So what did surprise me was her outlook on the job opportunities. I was under the impression that one teacher retired and another one took its place. So it was like a constant need for teachers. But the way she explained it is that that schools are cutting back, and they're expecting the teachers to do more work and have larger classroom sizes. And another thing that surprised me was the pay. Missing just one day of school will put her back down to substitute level pay instead of long-term substitute level pay, which I do not think is a fair expectation of a school to have at all. So I know my fellow students aren't interested in being a teacher, but maybe somebody you know is, and they'll find this helpful and interesting. So thanks for watching.